Hey everyone, Arashi here, back again with another upload, and in today's video, I want to talk about Kylo Ren yet again, and this will actually be the continuation of my Can a Sequel Characters Be Redeemed. And this time I did it on, I think, just the business side, and it's been a while, so I did it on Finn second, and then now I'm doing it on the character who I think had the second most potential out of all the sequel characters, and that's Kylo Ren, or Ben Solo. So first off, the preface, I wouldn't have never had Ben Solo or Kylo Ren in this case switch over from the light or from the dark side over to the light. I would have had him commit fully to the dark side of the Force. And at the end of the day, I would have had him be really powerful too. I mean, since he is technically a descendant of Anakin Skywalker, he has the Skywalker blood coursing through his veins, so he has a lot of potential and probably a very high midichlorian count as well. Now, obviously, he probably didn't have the same amount of potential as Luke or Leia, since those are his direct descendants to connecting him to Anakin, but at the same time, he probably wasn't any slouch either. He probably had a really deep connection to the Force already at birth. Kind of as like the original idea for Kylo was to be, he was to be teetering at the very beginning of his life, not deciding if he wanted to be on a light side or not, but by the time the third or even the seventh movie would have came out, I would have had him fully commit to the dark side of the Force. And since Kylo had such an attachment to his grandfather, Anakin Skywalker, in this case Darth Vader, I would have had him keep searching and eventually find the truth about what happened to Palpatine. Now, for what I would have them do for Rey and Kylo's relationship, not necessarily them being in a relationship as, loving aspect, but more of like friends, students actually. I would have actually had Rey be at the Jedi Temple training with Luke the entire time, at the same time as Kylo defected and went to the dark side. I feel with Rey being there from the beginning along with Kylo Ren training with Luke would have made their conflict flow a little bit better and not as, forced. And when they did things like force dyad, it would have made a lot more sense because, they had been training with each other for many years. And if you would have checked out my past video about it, I actually explained how I would want Finn to also be a Jedi during this time as well, along with Rey, but I didn't necessarily go in detail on how exactly I would have made it seem. During this time, Kylo would still be under the guidance of Lord Snoke, but at the same time, I would have had Kylo pretty much trying to groom or try to get Rey to flip sides, because once he finds out that she's a Palpatine, he maybe tries to play onto that a little bit, tap into her evil nature, which he kind of somewhat did during the movies as well. He made her really push deeper into the dark side of the Force, and to the point she even saw herself as the Darth Rey essentially. But I would have played onto that a little bit harder than what I would have done for anybody else. I mean, I believe that Kylo being fully embracing the dark side of the Force wouldn't necessarily at first be trying to take her out, but more so just trying to get her to come to his side, eventually just try to embrace her dark nature. It would also make this scene a little bit more important as well. When Kylo is faced with the decision to kill Rey, when Snoke is given the decision to kill Rey, but instead he decides to take out Snoke himself. This scene would actually made a lot more sense if Rey had been there training the entire time. Yes, he couldn't bring himself to do it at this point, but after this, now that there's an open seat in the galaxy, he goes and tries to take it over. And maybe Kylo at this point, kind of similar to what he did in the movies, actually decides to become the true emperor of the galaxy. But only to find out later on down the line that the true emperor of the galaxy is actually still alive, and that is Chancellor Palpatine, or Sidious, or whatever you want to call him. Which during Kylo's conquest of the galaxy, or, trying to make it seem like he is the true emperor of the galaxy, eventually stumbles upon Exegol, learning about it through Sith holocrons and all that stuff, and eventually finding Palpatine. Now, at first, once he finds Palpatine, he will want to kill him and take him out, because he wants to be the true emperor of the galaxy, since that's what he wants to essentially be, is Kylo wants to be the true #1 emperor of the entire galaxy. But also, now that he's met Palpatine, he eventually just wants to learn from him and then, kind of takes a backseat role for a little bit and playing almost as a puppet emperor. And even Palpatine wants him to do this for a little bit until Palpatine can become fully as powerful, just like how he used to be, until he gains that power that he once had back. And I would have it pretty much go the exact same way as it did in the 9th movie for a little bit, with, Palpatine gifting him his new Empire fleet, all that stuff, pretty much giving Kylo everything that he could ever want to rule the galaxy. Now in the movie, he eventually, ends up betraying Palpatine, but at the end of for myself, I would actually have Palpatine be revealed at the end of the 9th movie instead, leaving the audience on a cliffhanger ending going on to episode 10 and episode 11 and episode 12. But at the end of the day, we all know that how Palpatine is, and Palpatine would actually be manipulating and trying to get him to, commit to him for a little bit, and then eventually, once he gets to his full power, he would try to take over the galaxy for himself. Or should I say, retake the galaxy for himself, as Palpatine at a lifetime before already ran the entire galaxy at one point. But after meeting Palpatine face to face, Kylo would sense that he's nowhere near powerful enough to take him on alone. And this part right here is when Kylo will get the Knights of Ren actually involved and fully involved this time. And not just sitting there looking cool for the camera as they actually were in the actual movie. But anyway, I would have the Knights of Ren be fully involved this time and make them actually play a bigger role in the piece of what Kylo Ren's plan actually would be. And similarly to the Sith of old, I'd have Kylo actually scour the galaxy looking for Force users, people especially attuned to the Force and attuned to the dark side of the Force, to rule over them and have his own Sith army to go along with his already built Sith army that he has from Palpatine. And similarly to the Clone Wars, I would have each Knight of Ren be a general leading every battalion into battle. And with a large empire, a whole fleet, and with the Knights of Ren out there, and also now he's gathering Force users to be dark side wielders, essentially a bunch of Sith running around the galaxy nowadays. He's now ready to take out the Jedi and eventually take out Palpatine. But anyway, in order to stop the video from being so long, I'm going to cut it right here. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I'll actually make a part 2 coming to this, probably coming out tomorrow or Monday. I'll have to let you guys know eventually, but just stay tuned. But anyway, may the Force be with you and have a great rest of your day.